Hi everyone, this is Kathy Grosskirth with Bookkeeping Clean and Simple, and today I'm doing the 7th video in my current series on the Books Review feature in QuickBooks Online Accountant. We're going to be talking about this final review area right here. And before we actually dive into that, I wanted to ask if you would like and subscribe to my channel, share it with others. I'm trying to get the algorithms to work in my favor so that eventually I can monetize this channel. I usually do one video per week on desktop and online QuickBooks related content, mostly geared towards accountant users. You don't necessarily have to be an accountant user though to like and subscribe my channel and share it with others. I welcome anybody who wants to be a part of that. Now with that said, let's go ahead and jump right in. We are still using the Kathy's Bookkeeping Test file. And in the final review section, this is where we actually look at unusual or unexpected balances in both the accounts payable and the accounts receivable area. And then also, and I'm going to scroll down a little bit so that way you can see this, we can run either the balance sheet or profit and loss reports, and we can add other reports here that we might want to look at as well. But let me go ahead and scroll back up here. So basically, anything that's 90 plus days old, either your bills that have not been addressed over 90 days or more, and the invoices that haven't been addressed in 90 days or more. You're going to see those in here. Now, before you use any of these tools, you want to make sure, and I'll put this disclaimer in there, that you want to do your due diligence and make sure that these are not in fact duplicates or that these have not had any other issues somewhere, and that's why they're showing up in here before you just use these tools. So with that said, I'm just going to talk about using these tools in the way that they are intended to be used, whether or not these are correct or not. So anyway, we don't have anything in the accounts payable area, which is good, and that could mean, like I said, you know, with this particular client, we are not tracking any bills in QuickBooks Online here. So we don't see anything here. So nothing to demonstrate here, but basically when we're looking at the accounts receivable, we see all these invoices here. Okay, so we have several invoices here that we're looking at, and it tells you that we have 12 invoices here that we're actually looking at here. So what I'm talking about here will be similar to what you would do with the bills that you see up above. So you actually have two choices here. You can either do each individual item here by either editing, voiding, or deleting. But if you're having to do a massive cleanup going back several months or whatever, then you might want to use the batch tools that we have here. So anyway, so let's say we wanted to knock out all 12 of these at once. And I'm not going to actually go through and do all this, but I wanted to show you that when you do that massive check box there to check everything off, you have two actions. You can either void the invoices or you can delete them. The major difference between voiding and delete is that voiding will leave the invoices in there, but it will zero them out. And usually that's the recommended course of action, even if you're a cash-based business where you would know that you wouldn't have to necessarily keep those invoices in there. But if something happens, say like later on, and you found out that you needed to recreate that invoice, you still have that record in there and can recreate it from that invoice. Whereas if you delete everything, which in a cash-based business, basically you don't write off bad debt or anything like that, then you know you could probably technically delete those here, but the problem is you don't have anything to go back to later on if you have an issue. So the recommended action is usually voiding. Now we'll click on the void button and it'll actually tell you here that you can actually re-enter them manually later if you void them out. Usually it will, like I said, leave a record of the invoice in there, but it will bring the balance down to zero. So if you wanted to do that, you would just click on void and then that would wipe them all out of here. We're not going to do that. I'm going to cancel all that because I want to show you what happens when you click on delete. Now it does warn you that if you actually go through the actions of deleting these, it cannot be undone. So again, my recommendation and the best practice is to probably just use the void method of doing this instead of deleting, because you want to make sure you still have the record of it in there. And that way, if there's ever any question, you can always go back to it and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel all that. And again, once you do all that, and I'm going to go ahead and uncheck all those, you can roll these up under here so that way you don't see all that. And then you can run reports that you have here. These are the 2 standard reports that they include in with this tab, and you can add others that you might want to here. But anyway, that's basically all I have for today, and next time we'll be wrapping everything up. So if you ever want to provide feedback to Intuit on any of these tools, you'll go over here to this gear icon and then click on feedback here, and that way you can tell Intuit some of the things that you would like to see improved in this area. Now with that said, that's all I have. Y'all have a wonderful day. Take care everybody, and we will see you soon.